little background on the Woodpecker-Jaybird War was after Reconstruction, Fort Bend County had a large black population from former slaves and Reconstructionists. Well, the black Democrats, as they became known, started winning elections, and the establishment, elite white Jaybird Democrats did not take too kindly to that. The terms are credited to a man named Bob Chappell, who is said to be eccentric, who sang about the birds, and that's how the names were signed. The Woodpeckers being the black Democrats, the Jaybirds being the white Democrat establishment. Well, a series of incidents in 1888, starting with the murder of Jay Shamblin, and then a month later, the wounding of another Jaybird leader, Harry Frost. Shamblin is buried over at Hodges Bend Cemetery that we visited earlier. Frost, I could not find a location where I could not find an account of him being killed or where he's buried. And then after that, another woodpecker, who was a county official, murdered a Jaybird member, supposedly to keep him from testifying in a case involving his brother. And then that person was subsequently murdered in Galveston by that individual's brother. Well, come the election of November of 1888, the Texas Rangers had been sent in to keep the peace and monitor the elections, and the Woodpeckers won most of all of the offices, further upsetting the establishment white Democrat elite. Now, is this area right about here is where the actual gun battle took place. Right here in front of the courthouse, over here by the old McFarland house, which we'll go take a look at. Now on Friday, August 16th, 1889, the tensions came to a head when the Woodpeckers with Sheriff Garvey and the Jaybirds convened about right around here, and imagine challenges were uttered. There was a contingent of Texas Rangers here in an attempt to keep the peace, but Sheriff Garvey reportedly told the Rangers to get out of the way. Then the bullets started flying. Sheriff Garvey was killed rather soon, and then the gun battle lasted 20-25 minutes in this general area here. And some reports say some shooters held up in the McFarland house over here and returned fire. Well, as the battle started dying down and Jaybird reinforcements arrived, it is said the Woodpeckers were held up in the courthouse and eventually surrendered. And this led to a meeting and to the Woodpeckers being expelled from Fort Bend County, which left it open to Jaybird Democrat rule up until 1953. Well, here I am at Morton Cemetery where Sheriff Garvey is buried. However, when I was looking to try and find exactly where his grave would be, I found a site that said the cemetery has no records of where he's buried, and there is no marker on it. So, wish I'd have seen that before, but I'm not going to waste the moment. I'm going to go explore anyway. While I was here, I decided to visit the grave of Walter Moses Burton. Even though I didn't find the grave of Sheriff Garvey, I did find the grave of Walter Moses Burton. He was a slave brought to Texas in 1860. While under slavery, he did learn to read and write from his owner. And after the Civil War, when he was freed, he bought land from his former owner for $1,900, making him very wealthy in a time of high racial tensions. In 1869, Walter Burton was elected sheriff of Fort Bend County, the first black man elected sheriff in Texas and in the United States. Quite a remarkable achievement. In 1873, Burton was elected to the Texas Senate, where he served 4 terms. Quite a remarkable achievement during that time. On another tangent, while we were at Hodges Bend Cemetery, came across a groundskeeper who shared us a local ghost story. While shooting video for the Jaybird Monument over here, we learned of this story. Mary Lorena Walker, born July 28, 1866, died April 2nd, 1872. Just told by a man who keeps the cemetery that she is reportedly the spirit that haunts the cemetery. What he told me was he was out here chopping out wood after a tornado leveled a tree, and while he was by this grave, he felt a tap on the shoulder, and he turned off his chainsaw, turned around, nobody there. Well, this was 7 years ago. About 2 years ago, he looked online and he found out other people had reported being tapped on the shoulder by this little girl's grave.